Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Leandra Brady-Walker and I am a NetworkSpinal chiropractor. So today I want to talk about the difference between NetworkSpinal chiropractic and normal chiropractic and what an entrainment is. So NetworkSpinal is different in the fact that it is an energy forward type chiropractic. So chiropractic is very traditionally in the 3D, and we obviously work a lot with the body. So let's start talking about some of the terminology we use. So some chiropractors or other physical therapists will talk about what they do as a manipulation. Most chiropractors, however, will talk about what they do as an adjustment. And what NetworkSpinal talks about is an entrainment. Now, these are all very specific words and they all have very different meanings, which then translate into what kind of therapy you are going to be experiencing. So let's start with manipulation. Now, manipulation is a word that does not have very upfront connotations. It does have a sort of underhand, sneaky, behind the scenes sort of way. And when we use the word manipulation in regards to a therapy, it is very 3D, very dense energy, and it talks about, okay, your body is doing something and we are going to knead and we are going to smush and we are going to try and change the way that is happening. So it does assume that whatever the body is doing is not great. So that's manipulation. Most chiropractors don't use the word manipulation. What they do use is the word adjust. Now, adjust has a lot more forward connotations in the idea that it is less about sort of tricking or manipulating or doing stuff to the body. And it is much more about bringing into alignment. Now, the thing with adjusting and the word adjust is that it has an idea that there is a prescribed normal. And we are bringing the body back into alignment with that prescribed normal. And we are adjusting back into the norm. So the idea that the spine should be straight. And so a subluxation is something that doesn't move. And we are then moving it back into alignment. Pretty standard. That's what most chiropractors do. And that is great. But when we talk about NetworkSpinal, the word we use is entrainment. Now, this is a very different word because it is a word from energy medicine. And when I do my intuition training and I work with people intuitively, that is the word we use, entrainment. Now, what is an entrainment? Now, an entrainment it's based on the idea that humans are both particle and wave. This is a quantum mechanics term, okay? And this is all based in energy medicine and quantum mechanics, so bear with me, but it's pretty basic. We are now talking about whereas in manipulation and in adjusting, we are talking more about the particles and the 3D-ness of the human body. When we talk about the word entrainment, we are now talking about the energy and the waveform of a human being. Now, when we think about humans as like waves, right, we talk about things like vibes and vibration. Vibes comes from the word vibration. And how are you vibrating? Everything has a vibration. The denser it is, the lower the vibration. So the body, very dense, low vibration, okay? Hard to change, very difficult to change. It takes a while in the 3D to change the body. Manipulations and adjustments take a while to work because we are working with that dense energy. When we are in entrainment, though, and we are in energetic medicine, the energy and the change happens at a much faster rate, okay? Because the vibration is faster, not very dense. So when two waves come together, what will happen is that one wave will change to the other wave. Sometimes they come together and they change to be the same, okay? So if one wave is low and is not, vibrating very fast, and one wave is a lot faster and bigger, right? They will come together and they will either come to the lower frequency or they can come together and create a whole new frequency, okay? We call this co-regulation. So this is what happens when, say, your child is really, really upset and they are frantic and having an awful time and their vibration's very, very high, and you come in and you are calm and your vibration is a lot lower, and you can hold that child and you can co-regulate with them. So you can, you might get a little bit more heightened, but they will come down, okay? And then you will vibrate together. Now, this happens because it is very, very hard to hold a different frequency to something else. So if two frequencies come together, right, you will have to use a lot of energy to maintain the frequency, okay? It is easier, much, much easier to adopt either, to come together and make another frequency or adopt the other frequency. That is just science, okay? And it is energy conservation. And this is what humans do and everything does in the world to conserve the energy, because energy is not created or destroyed. We only have a certain amount of it. So this is how we conserve energy. So it's like there's no point fighting it. We are conserving energy and we are just going with it. So that's co-regulation, when your two vibrations will come together to form something else, right? An entrainment, however, is a little bit different. An entrainment is when you have a higher frequency and you are vibing at something else, and a lower frequency comes in, and then because it comes in contact with this higher frequency, it comes up to meet that frequency. Now, this is what my job is. So you can see how this is different from being a normal chiropractor where I'm adjusting into this prescribed idea. In this paradigm, there is no predetermined idea. All it is I am holding a higher frequency. I am calm. I am a safe space. I have created the energy around me. You come into that frequency and instantly you can be at the frequency I am at. And what this does is that it allows the lower frequency person who has come into this higher frequency, to see things from a different perspective. It's like, oh my goodness. And an entrainment is not about me having a predetermined idea of where you are going. It is about me holding a vibration so that you can then come up to that vibration and look at your life, your body, whatever's going on in a different way. And that is exactly what we do in NetworkSpinal. It is about breaking down the old patterns, about looking at what is going on and changing that. And just the mere act of looking at something from a different and higher frequency and a higher perspective will change the energy. So you can see how different this is from normal chiropractic, because it is not working in that 3D dense energy. It is working at this higher frequency because energy precedes matter. And everything is energy. So once we change our energy, we can change our 3D matter. And it's a trickle-down effect. Now, that being said, it begs the question of, can NetworkSpinal, can entrainment be done when we are not in the physical space together? And of course it can, and I have been working with this for months now and experimenting with it, because this is true quantum medicine and this is true quantum healing, because we are working with the energy and not the matter. So that is all I wanted to share with you. It is a little bit sciencey. It is a little bit quantum mechanicsy, but it is where I believe the way healing is going. I believe that we as human beings are an incredibly smart and intellectual bunch. We have done a lot of education. We have done a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of science. And we are at a time in history where we are still very sick. And we are still looking for things outside of us to heal us. When really, I believe we all hold the wisdom within us to heal ourselves. And that is my job. My job is to hold this higher frequency and to work on my own things, because I can do nothing for anyone else but work on myself. And the idea is that coming into my frequency then allows you a safe space, a specific prescribed time where you feel safe enough to actually look at what is going on. Now, this is very important because the word we use in chiropractic for something that's not in alignment is subluxation. Now, sub means not enough, and lux means light. So this has nothing to do with a bone being out of place or a muscle being tight. It is about not enough light. And what we are doing in an entrainment is shedding light on things that are dark. So being in an entrainment and being in a space with somebody like me, a facilitator who can hold that higher frequency, is like being a scared child in a bedroom when it's really dark and you think that there's a monster. And then your mum comes in and she turns on the light and she's like, that's not a monster, it's just a coat on a chair. So that's my job. When you are feeling like that scared child who does not know what's going on and you're seeing monsters everywhere, my job is to come in and turn on the light so you can see what is really going on. And to me, that is incredibly exciting and incredibly interesting, and more interesting than what I have been doing in the past, which is being the oracle and being the doctor and telling you what is wrong. Because in truth, when has someone telling you what is wrong with you and what you should do, when has that really ever changed your life? When, like, isn't it much more profound if you can see the change that needs to be made, the change for yourself, when you can see what's really going on and it's not coming from some outside third-party source who's like, hey, you need to eat more kale. You know, it's much deeper than that, and often much simpler than that as well. So that is what an entrainment is. That is what is different between an entrainment and an adjustment. And that is what is different about energy medicine and energy chiropractic as opposed to traditional chiropractic. So I hope this has been an informative video for you. Please leave me a comment and ask me any questions. And there are plenty of resources about this sort of thing. I would very much recommend looking at Joe Dispenza's work, because this is very much his work as well. So, and he's also a chiropractor, which is very cool. Thank you so much for joining me today. And please leave me a comment if there is anything you would like to discuss. Thank you so much.